It's that time of the year. No, I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about a new Next.js major version, Next.js 16. The beta just got released and there are plenty of new features. Let's dive right in. The first change is setting up a new Next.js app. On the left side you see the old version and on the right side you see the new version with Next.js 16. The whole process just got a little bit faster because now you have these defaults. Like, who the hell is setting up their app with just JavaScript and not TypeScript? The next big thing is TurboPack is stable for development and production. Vercel says 2.5 times faster build times in production, which is definitely crazy, and 10 times faster fast refresh. So now you just don't need this turbo flag anymore. But if you want to use Webpack, because you might have some plugins that don't have any support in TurboPack, you have to now add the Webpack flag. So just add Webpack to dev and build and you're good to go. If you upgraded and looked into your nextconfig.ts file, you will see that the React compiler is now not there anymore. No, don't be scared. It's just not experimental anymore. So you can just remove the experimentality here and just set the React compiler to true. The experimental flag is gone. But when it comes to better developer experience, there's a new flag you can set. And this is called TurboPack File System Cache for dev. But I just saw you can also activate that for build. And this thing is a big improvement because it caches your files between different builds. So you do one build, it's taking a minute, and you do it again, and it is way faster because it cached in the .next folder. It's still experimental, but Vercel says they use it in their big projects, so I guess it can't be that experimental. And then we have this build adapters API, which is now an alpha. You see, the thing with Next.js is that it was always quite bound to Vercel. You always got the best compatibility with Vercel. While you can deploy Next.js elsewhere, it was not that easy. This should change it. We could really go deep into the rabbit hole here. There's a whole discussion on GitHub about it. It's quite complex, but I will make a video about that. And if you don't want to miss that, you have to subscribe to this channel. But in a nutshell, this ensures that Next.js is deployable everywhere, and even Vercel uses this API. And then we have a big change. PPR is gone. PPR stands for partial pre-rendering and is a great concept. But why is it gone now? Because if I try to experimentally opt into it, I can still set it to true, but when I hover it, I see it's deprecated. So what's going on here? And we already see it has been merged into experimental cache components. And cache components is the big thing in this new Next.js 16 release. So you don't need to be scared. Partial pre-rendering is not gone. It's just now baked into something else, into this cache components flag. But what is this cache components flag? So of course you can now write cache components and set this to true. And this enables a bunch of functionality like partial pre-rendering, but more, definitely more. There's, for example, this new Next.js use cache directive where you can just write use cache, for example, on file level, but also on component level or even down to function level. So you can exactly decide what should be cached and what not. And this will make your app so much faster. So there's a whole mental model behind that. And I will definitely make videos about that on this channel. But there will be more released in the next weeks. So stay tuned. But that's not all about caching. You might saw the thumbnail. There are new caching APIs. For example, we all know revalidate path. And it stays the same. You can just revalidate path by giving it a path. Cool. But you might also know revalidate tag. And revalidate tag has changed. So before you would write something like revalidate tag and then write slots. So like whatever is the tag you want to revalidate. But now you already see there's something missing because this function now expects two arguments, one tag and one profile. So like a cache live config. And cache live is also a new concept, which might sound a bit random, but you can just specify things like max in here, or for example, hours or days. So you just specify the length of the life of the cache, somehow like that. You can specify your own values in your nextconfig.ts, and I will make a video about that as well. You already see caching is a big topic of this release, but there's more. There are actually new things because we not only have revalidate tag, we also have update tag now. You can import that as well from Next.cache, and update tag is server actions only. And what it does, it's basically expiring the cache and is refreshing your app. And then we have something that is called refresh, and you might get confused here now. You can import that as well from Next.cache, which is, I don't know if I like this because refresh has nothing to do with the cache. Refresh is basically just refreshing the page. Like you can do it with router.refresh on the client, but refresh a lot of refreshes here, but the new refresh API can only be used in server actions as well. So whereas update tag is expiring the cache, refresh is basically just refreshing the front end so you see data that is up to date. And the next cool thing of this update is that Next.js gets faster because there are some more improvements. Improvements, for example, when navigating between different pages. So page transitions are now faster. And one concept here is layout deduplication. And what this basically means, before we had a link, and when the link enters the viewport, it usually gets prefetched. That's how the Next.js link works. That means it loads the full page. But let's say you have multiple links now. So you don't just have one link, you have 2, 3, 5, 10. You maybe have a full list of navigatable cards. That's a problem because we do certain things every time again. Because let's say all these routes share the same layout. We would always fetch the full page. We don't want that. That's why we now have layout deduplication. So let's say we have these links and they get prefetched, but instead of fetching the whole thing, we just load the layout tsx and then fetch all the children. So we're basically just fetching the children and reuse the layout tsx that we once fetched. So that should make prefetching already a lot faster. And then we have concepts like incremental prefetching, where we only prefetch things that are not cached. And with the use of cache components, I think this will also lead to big performance improvements. And there are more improvements. Let's say this link here, when I click on get tickets, is getting prefetched. When I scroll down and it's prefetched at this moment, but it's getting out of the viewport, then the prefetch is getting cancelled. This, for example, will definitely save bandwidth. And there are many more things like React 9.2, which is now used in the app router and Next.js 16. And then we have version bumps like Node.js 20.9 and so many more removals and behavior changes. Just stop the video to read them or follow the link in the description to this blog post. And that's already it. If you want to update to Next.js 16, use this code mod. And if you're interested to other topics of Next.js, click one of these videos. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day. Bye bye.